8.
So since 2009, we have been sharing stories of the men and women who have served that live right here in our backyard. So it's exciting.
So much fun that you get to, we get to highlight these brave men and women, and you get to squire them around town and do the media circuit. And I can tell James is very thrilled to be here this morning on the upside with Josh and them.
Radio is one of those things that, you come in and chat and it becomes family. But if it's your first time, it's a little nerve-wracking.
Little daunting.
You got all the radio, mechanics here and all of that, so it's a little daunting.
Yeah, and I make a promise to you, sir. If you leave here and you feel like a bigger fool than me, I did not do my job properly. I am the fool here. Thank you, Kevin Russell. I sure do appreciate that. So, Miss Lindy, before we introduce James here, tell the folks a little bit about how they can nominate their favorite veteran for that Veteran of the Quarter program.
Yes. So at Branson Bank, we have our Veteran of the Quarter program. Feel free to stop into any of our 5 convenient locations in Branson, Forsyth, or Branson West. We have a nomination form there. We would love to sit down, have a conversation, and get that filled out. Or we have that application listed on our website at bransonbank.com. Go ahead and download that and then drop it off at any location. Those nomination forms are gathered and in one folder. It never leaves that folder. It stays in that folder until selection. And the selection process on a quarterly basis is made by a committee of the veterans that came before them. So all of our Veterans of the Quarter, they have that open invitation to join us, to help us with that selection process, because we feel like our veterans know other veterans.
That's right.
It's their peers.
Right.
It's a panel of their peers. So we empower them, and we just simply facilitate it and get to hear all the amazing stories of our veterans.
Who better to tell you which veteran needs to be honored than the veterans themselves?
Right.
I mean, it really is. Also, it's really cool that if you don't do the worldwide interwebs, or you can't, you just get frustrated or whatnot, just go by any Branson Bank branch location and just walk in and say, hey, look, I have a veteran that I'd like to get nominated. Someone will put a cookie in your hand and sit you down with a pen and a piece of paper. You can fill that information out. That's one of our favorite things about our friends over at Branson Bank. All right, without further ado, are y'all ready? All right, Mr. Gilbert, you just sit there quietly while we talk about you like you're not here, all right? Okay. All right, here we go. James Gilbert enlisted in the United States Air Force in April of 1981 and went through basic training at Lackland Air Force Base in Texas, training as a security specialist. After basic, he was assigned to Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri to the Missile Security Squadron until August of 84. Over the next 20 years, Gilbert traveled the world, spending 2 years in Turkey, 8 years at Buckley Air Force National Guard Base in Colorado, 3 years in Japan, and then back to Whiteman here in Missouri. In May of 2001, James retired from the United States Air Force after 20 years of service. During the service, James was awarded the Meritorious Service Medal, AF Commendation Medal, Air Achievement Medal with 1 device, Air Force Good Conduct Medal with 5 devices, no big deal, National Defense Service Medal, Kuwait Liberation Medal, Air Force Outstanding Unit with 4 devices, Air Force Overseas Short Tour Ribbon, Air Force Longevity Service Award with 3 devices, NCO Professional Military Education Ribbon with 1 device, Small Arms Expert Marksmanship Ribbon Rifle, and AF Training Ribbon. Wow. That's a lot.
That is a lot.
After retirement, Gilbert worked for the Union Pacific Railroad out of Sedalia, Missouri, and while employed, moved here to Hollister before retiring in 2022. James continues to serve the community in a variety of ways, including the POW Network volunteer, Veterans of the Ozarks and Brotherhood of Railroad Signalmen contributor, Veterans Welcome Home Week event volunteer, and is a member of Trout Unlimited, the NRA, and enjoys working on his model railroad and doing some fly fishing. He's married to his wife, Miss Christina. They have 2 children and 6 grandchildren. Congratulations, Mr. James Gilbert, on being named the Veteran of the Quarter. How does it feel, sir? How'd you react when you first heard about this?
Well, quite amazed, actually. It was been a little while since my paperwork went in for it, and I am not a social person, and I've resisted even having my name put in for quite a while.
Well, sir, that's one of the reasons how we know that you're the the right type of person that we're looking for this honor. You know, the people that need to be honored are the ones that you have to drag kicking and screaming to honor them. So we thank you for your service. Now, I was kind of scrolling through here, and I see things like fuel and chemical leaks. I see nuclear missile sites. I see Southern Europe and North Africa. Tell me a little bit about what you did while you were in the service.
Well, I started out in security police, and as I said, it started here in the Missouri at Whiteman, guarding the nuclear missiles there for a few years, going out into the field. And then after that, went over to Turkey, where I guarded aircraft, and we formed a emergency service team there, one of the first in Europe for the base. It was basically a SWAT team for the base. And we were responsible to respond to any incident that happened in North Africa, all around the Mediterranean.
Wow.
Europe.
Wow.
If anything happened, we were supposed to respond. We really didn't do. We did a lot of training and responded to very little. So
well, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. You know, so y'all just kind of stayed ready the whole time. What's it like to be able to leave home and go and see the world at such a young age?
it was very exciting. Of course, I was very young and I didn't know what I was doing there most of the time. You wander around and look at stuff, know what you're looking at. I wish I would have been there when I was later in life, what I was looking at.
But again, though, that you're in the right place at the right time. You know, all those experiences made you the person that you are today. Why did you join up? What was the reasoning behind you deciding I want to go in the Air Force?
Money.
That's brought to you by Branson Bank, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, well, I was going to go in the military right out of high school. I had an appointment to one of the academies, and my girlfriend said she wouldn't be married to a military person, probably wouldn't wait for me for the 4 years to go to the academy, so I turned that down.
She's shaking her head.
And I started to look at becoming a police officer in Denver, and she said she wouldn't be married to a Denver police officer or any police officer, so we tried some other stuff, and we ended up with some money problems, and in the end, I joined the military and became a police officer.
So she had to deal with it then. That's exactly right. Talk a little bit, if you will. Branson Bank Veteran of the Quarter, the all-new Veteran of the Quarter, United States Air Force, James Gilbert. Talk about the people that you served with. Anytime we talk to veterans, specifically for this, it always comes back around to the people that you served with were so much more important than what you guys were doing, because those are the guys that made the experience. That's your family when you're in the service.
Yes, they were excellent for the most part. I mean, every family has some black sheep.
You're so right about that.
You're looking at two right here.
That's right.
But yes, the people are excellent. Most of them are there to do a job, and they're going through the same things you are. They're away from their families when you are. They become your family, and you can't beat them.
That's right. That's exactly right. Well, congratulations, sir. It's very nice to meet you. And this is a pretty big deal, Miss Lindy. This program has been growing by leaps and bounds over the years, and I do not envy all of the men and women on that committee that choose the Veteran of the Quarter, because you can only get 4. You only get 4 a year, right? So it's got to be daunting.
It is difficult, but you know they do a great job. Each of those I think last quarter we had 9 individuals that were sitting around that table, and they review every application nomination every single time. It doesn't go to the back of the folder or anything like that. Like, every single nomination is reviewed and at length. You know, maybe someday we'll talk to our veterans. Maybe this quarterly program might turn into a bi-monthly or maybe a monthly. You know, at some point, I think that it's time to really start looking at all those applications that's in that folder and take care of our men and women and show them some love because they deserve it.
And it's a great, the word patriotism has been on the lips of a lot of folks, especially the last 8-10 years. Here in Branson, Larry Milton pulled a Mickey Gilley. And Gilley always said that he submitted Gilley's Pasadena as the world's largest nightclub to Guinness. He said, I don't know if it was or if it wasn't, but I submitted it and I got it. 2 years ago, Larry Milton submitted Branson, Missouri as the most patriotic place in the United States of America. And he's like, whether it is or whether it ain't, we're willing to
We know it.
That's exactly right. So we got called the most patriotic place in the USA, and it is so important to have that foundation, to have that building block. Faith, flag, and family. We hear it all the time here in Branson. And folks like y'all, you talk the talk and walk the walk, Miss Lindy.
Well, we appreciate that, but we're part of a great team. They're doing so much even at the chamber now, getting ready with the committee. They've hired someone that is working directly to form that veteran committee. They also have the marketing director working towards an initiative with celebrating our 250th anniversary.
Right.
It's coming, guys. And so we hope to, just welcome our veterans across the country to join us here in Branson and make it a great time for each of them sharing in their honor and thankfulness. But yes, at Branson Bank, we truly enjoy doing this. You can't say enough about the service and sacrifice. I was able to sit down with James and Chris a week or so ago, and she shared with me that she was home with the kids for the most of the duration of his service, but then was able to join him in Japan, and that was one of the most favorite places that they attended. So knowing how much it affects their families, it's not just the veteran that's over there serving, but the families that are impacted by this. And now the communities that they are here still serving. They're part of so many different community efforts. They're giving back. And most of the time, you don't know about it. It's unspoken.
And it's crazy because you don't find out about it until someone nominates them for the Veteran of the Quarter. And I'm so glad that you brought that point up, because you could have the most stellar military career of all time ever. But if you don't do nothing afterwards, if you're not helping folks out, if you're not volunteering, if you're not getting, then you kind of fall down the list a little bit, because it's not just about the military career. It's about these men and women as individuals, as who they are and their whole life's work. So it's great when I get these bios to look and read about everything that these folks are involved in. So, Miss Lindy, in addition to squiring James around radio and newspaper and pictures and all the stuff, you guys got a pretty special thing that you like to give to your veterans.
We do, yes. So as he mentioned, our veterans, our primary mission is to share their stories. You can find their stories on our website. You'll find their stories on each of our partner stations that share about them. Also, you can find their stories in our Highway 248 location in Branson. We have a foyer dedicated to our veterans,
which is awesome.
Yes, come
Fantastic.
in and see the plaques, and you'll see the story of our Veteran of the Quarter during that time frame. But also, as a small token of our appreciation, we do give out a medal of honor, is what we call it. It's our coin of honor. And as we know in the military, a coin is symbolic of many different things. Each branch of service, each group, they use coins. But for us, we have a coin that's fashioned to a money clip.
Of course.
That showcases our cookie, because it's the warmth that embodies that. But that small token of appreciation I would like to present to you, Mr. James Gilbert. Thank you for being our 58th Veteran of the Quarter, and thank you for your service.
Woo! That's right.
Thank you.
That's right. Sir, we appreciate you coming by and hanging out with us. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you, like I tell all the other 57, if you need anything, now you just call. You do a lot of volunteer. You do a lot of other stuff out there. Got an event, got something you want to push, don't hesitate. You family now, sir, here on the upside. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Kevin Russell, how awesome is that?
That's very, very awesome.
It's one of the coolest things we get to do 4 times a year here, honoring the United States, honoring our military, honoring our community, honoring our partners. It all comes together perfectly. Miss Lindy, thank you so much for coming in and bringing James in.